Hi, you're listening to Boggy Talk, Faith Conversations in the Mud, a resource of Church on Bayshore.
Well, hello. Thanks for joining us today on Boggy Talk. How's everyone?
It's doing great, I think.
It's doing great.
I was like, it's great. I don't know. I'm fine. Yeah.
Good.
It's February. It's end of the month. It feels like it's been a quick 2 months of the year. I don't know.
It has been.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, really,
It's
when you
like
think about we're a sixth of the way
coming to an
through.
end. Oh, wow.
2020.
A
A
sixth.
sixth of
Very
the way
specific.
through. That's very, I mean, it is. That's the math, right? 2 out of 12.
That's the math, man.
I've been doing
That's
a lot
the
of
math.
fraction homework with my third and fourth
Okay,
graders.
gotcha.
So,
Okay.
oh,
Yeah.
What's that?
yeah.
It's a good, like, we're rolling.
Yeah. 2025 is in full gear.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's in the future anymore. So
Right, certainly.
Well,
Well,
it's not in the future anymore.
it is the now.
It's
It
one
said,
sixth
no,
of the way
but
through.
you know how sometimes it takes you a little bit to catch up. It just feels that way.
yeah.
Yeah. And we're coming on the heels of Vision Night. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Vision Night was a couple days ago, and we had a lot of information that we went over. So we were just going to kind of hit some of the highlights today, talk about those really important things. And so when we started Vision Night, we started it with what we always do, the Saints at Home, which is kind of a special recognition.
yeah, special recognition of those who are part of our church family who moved to heaven.
Have
this
gone
past
to
year.
be with the
Yes,
Lord.
exactly.
Have changed their residence.
Yeah.
Are in their permanent home.
That's right. All
Just
the
all
things
the ways
they
I could
crossed
say
over
that.
the river.
Ooh, they crossed over that final Jordan.
Yeah, that's right. It's a beautiful way to start Vision Night. I think, as we talk about the future, we recognize that we're standing on the shoulders of people, generations now in this church specifically, that have gone before us.
Yeah.
And it's a good, I mean, it's not meant to be a heavy, sobering thing, but it is in some
There's
ways.
a few that hit.
Yeah,
There's a few that
especially
hit,
those
you
that
know.
you've been close to.
Yeah.
But
Well, you kind of forget, too, like, not that person passed, but like,
the timing of it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man. And so,
Yeah.
like, when, Jerry Cole quit, I saw that. I was like, oh, my gosh, that was
Yeah.
only a year ago. But it feels like a long time ago, and just because he was his absence is so felt.
Yes.
It feels like he's been absent for a long time. But that was
Right.
last year, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And others,
Exactly.
too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
we went over last year, so basically the structure of this, if you weren't there, the goals from 2024 are shared, and then we kind of just say, okay, so what happened in the year, and this is where we're at. So what were some of the main, like the church-wide, the bigger goals that we were trying to reach?
Well, I mean, I have to start with hitting 40 baptisms, For a church our size, that's not necessarily a high number of baptisms comparatively, but, I mean, we are not a church that really does any thing besides just hope that people, through
Sharing the
relationship, lead
gospel.
people to Christ, through hearing the gospel and ministries, receive Christ. And so to see that number continue to go up, and now to hit 40, I think was a big milestone.
Yeah.
And so we praise Jesus for that.
It's almost one a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of those, just awesome to see. We're just seeing the faces in the video, but I mean, there's story after story after story. And we have kids and teenagers and adults. And so, I would say that's probably what stands out to me the most, even though there's a lot of great things to celebrate about last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, to get philosophical, you could be like, why do we even set goals for these things? Shouldn't we just trust the Lord? And it's because they keep us focused. We want to say, of course, we're a church and we want people to know Jesus. So we should say, hey, based off of who we are, the resources, the people, et cetera, this is where we think is a by faith and also realistic goal for us. So it kind of keeps us driven.
Yeah,
It
they
keeps
don't
us
end
on-
the conversation.
Yeah, yes, numbers don't start.
Nice.
Don't end the conversation. But they start the conversation.
Thank you, yeah.
That comes
Every
in
other
Vision Night.
industry has goals. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I mean, because it helps keep you focused. It
Yeah,
helps.
I think because of the nature of it being a church and we want everything to feel spiritual, there's that feeling of like, oh, that doesn't feel spiritual to have a goal, but it actually is great because
Yeah.
it keeps us focused, and it's not like we look at ourselves and say we were a failure because we didn't meet every
There were
goal.
goals, we did not meet. Our total giving number to kind of be aggressive about our future, we did not quite hit, even though obviously there's a lot of reason
To celebrate
we
the
would no
giving.
way chastise our church. Like
No.
Right.
the giving is great, but if we want to get where we want to be, as quick as we want to be there, we have got to see more increased giving. And we may or may not, but we're going to keep setting that goal kind of high.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we talked about baptisms. You mentioned giving. A couple other 2024 goals were really to begin to implement a plan for the next phase of our development, for campus development. We talked about that at Vision Night, and next week we'll talk about that more specifically. Prayer emphases, growth and realignment of our staff structure. Which
that's a big deal.
That was, and we're still just now. Next week we'll finally be fully staffed from the plan that began in 2023.
Yes. Wow.
So that's how long it takes these things to be in motion. Mainly because you're trying to get the right people in the position, not just fill positions, but also the fruit of that is even, I think, is starting to come, but we'll see a lot more fruit in the next year from that.
Super thankful for the team that got us put in place in our church right now. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, 65 people going on a short-term mission trip of some sort was great. That exceeded our goal of 60. And then, I mean, it's just hard to fathom this. In 2024, $865,186.10 was spent, given or spent on missions and outreach efforts in our community and the nations.
And that's not ministries. That's just specifically
that's
missions.
not worship ministry, discipleship ministry, student ministry. That's missions
incredible.
and outreach.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
really
a
cool.
28.88%.
Well, that includes ministry.
Oh, never mind. Just kidding. Well,
it's still a lot of money.
Well, it's right on our little note sheet. It's right beside.
Well, that's
it,
missions and ministry.
Okay, there. I see.
Yeah, you better
Wrong heading.
have gotten
I'll have that right by Sunday.
Wait, by Sunday it was
actually
week.
you're sharing that. Anyway, so
oops.
Okay. So you shared that. Excuse me, past tense.
I sure did.
That is significant, and I think even in our tracking of the people going on trips, I think that's important because we want to see people. I mean, one, there's a lot of fruit that comes in individuals in terms of shaping of worldview and kingdom mindset, but also we want these trips to support work and not just be things that we do. And so our trips to New York City, our mission trip to Uganda, and then disaster relief trips. And I will say too, we had when people participated in our disaster relief trips, most of the people participated in several of those trips that were a week long, and we only counted them one time because we're not trying to pad our numbers. So,
right. That's a great
if we counted all the people who went on all the disaster relief trips, it'd probably be, if each time it'd probably be in the 80s. So, we're trying to be honest.
Yeah, I think I would probably summarize 2024 as really a restabilizing of our structure in many ways, not just staff structure, but just kind of 2023, we all kind of felt like we have got to catch our breath after 2023. And 2024, it feels like, okay, there's still a lot, but we're finally catching our breath as a staff, as leadership, and yet at the same time, seeing a lot of things headed in the right trajectory. I mean, the reason that we haven't established new missionary partnerships like we'd want to and developed a long-term church evangelism strategy like we want to yet is because of kind of some of those other things restabilizing.
Right.
But, overall, we just see our church continue to grow, to be built to last. There's a book called Good to Great by Jim Collins. And then he came out with a book a few years later that was okay, but good to great isn't really good enough.
Can't stay great if you're not constantly working.
Yeah.
So I do think this church is built to last, and I mean, by God's grace and the people he's put in place. And so I think year 2024 is really a solidifying of that for us to be able to say, here's where we're going to continue to solidify that with our eyes set on our future goals.
Right, yeah. So, just making sure the frameworks are there to be able to propel it farther. So for 2025, we have several goals. Yeah. What are some of our goals moving forward?
Well, the first one, since we started with celebration, the next goal, or the first goal would be 42 baptisms. That's an increase in baptisms from this year. And really, when we set out these goals, we made a 10-year plan back in 2019, and that was in 10 years to have 250 baptisms. And so if you kind of correlate the numbers of growth with our church growth and that goal, that's where we should target. It's 42 baptisms this coming year. So that keeps us, not that we, I think the flip side of this is you could say, well, you could eventually be driven by that number rather than actually just wanting people to be baptized. And that's true. You could be, but it keeps us focused. And are we providing? Are we talking clearly about this? Are we giving gospel opportunities and response times?
Yeah.
Are people sharing the gospel?
Are people sharing the gospel? Or is it clear the next step? All those things. And are we celebrating it
That's
well?
right.
So,
yeah. And along that line, I mean, developing a long-term church evangelism strategy. So it's like, what we mean by that is, what does it look like for our church to ensure that all those things he just mentioned are happening? Like, what are the systems in place as we continue to grow to make sure people are being trained in evangelism, people are being given opportunities to share their faith? What are we doing corporately that's really working? How are we evaluating? I mean, so I don't even know what that fully looks like, and I just know that our team, our CONE team, Community Outreach Evangelism team, hasn't really been able to give the attention to that like they should, somewhat due to transition, but we're hoping that we would continue to do that.
And a plug for the Wilson's equipping group.
Yeah.
They're doing one
right.
about
yes, how to
gospel
share your faith.
conversations.
Yes,
So,
exactly. That's
yeah.
part of the strategy. Is, hey, let's equip people in this. Give
Right.
the opportunity. In response to that, we do have a one-on-one discipleship pathway that is launching already, but it will kind of really be fully rolled out this coming year, where when we have new believers, we have people who have not just said, hey, I will, but have been equipped with materials and how they will walk alongside that person one-on-one for a year to help them grow in their faith and learn how to study the Bible, cover spiritual disciplines, and really just how do you walk in this new relationship with the Lord. That's a
good.
great, we could say all day we want to have people baptized, but we're not just called to baptize. The Great Commission is to go and baptize and just make disciples, right? And so that's part of making disciples.
Yeah, I mean, we just keep building from there. So building from that is the 3 new life groups, because if these people are being discipled, we want to see people in community together, and we need more groups to do that. And new life groups typically reach new people. You guys have experienced that in the life group you were willing to lead. And we just recognize, because of the needs on Sunday morning and because space limitation, those groups cannot be on Sunday morning anymore. So we are not adding Sunday morning groups anymore. Now, there may be some exception to that with senior adults or something like that, but we are not planning to add any more Sunday morning life groups. So we want to see 3.
New life groups. They would be on
Wednesday nights, or
Sunday
during
nights,
the week.
during the week.
Okay.
We just have to. We're kind of at a place, and we'll talk about this a little bit more next week with the capital campaign and the need for space. But we really are on Sunday mornings maxed out space wise in terms of our life group rooms. Right. And a huge piece of this is because on Sunday mornings, our student ministry is actually over capacity in the student area for life groups. So already we have one student life group that's not meeting in the student area on Sunday mornings. They're meeting in an adult classroom. We anticipate continued growth in student ministry, which means probably a few more of those groups are going to have to move out of the student ministry space on Sunday mornings into adult classrooms. The classrooms are already full at the 9:30 hour, and then there's only a few spots at 11, and we've got to put students probably in those spaces. Right. So just other times. So Wednesdays, we just this year, back in January, started a new life group on Wednesday nights. And what you said, primarily almost everybody who connected in that group, new to the church.
Yeah.
And that's just what we find. I mean, that's not just us. That's other churches find that as well, too, when they launch groups. So we need new groups, but we need people to be willing to not meet on Sunday mornings, which impacts the next goal is our need for weekly volunteers. You know, we have a goal of 234. That number's, calculated through ratios and classes and who's leading in worship and life groups, et cetera. But we, several years ago, we really began to emphasize that in order for us to be healthy as a church, we need every member worshiping an hour, growing an hour together in community, and serving an hour.
We should have rehearsed that.
Yeah, that's right. Just boom, boom, boom. We're doing our hands in motion.
Yeah.
I talk with my hands. So,
me too.
and I think that's what we've got. If we want to be healthy, we've got to do that. And that requires everybody pitching in, doing their part, and so we really need people to consider how they can carry their load. And I guess we're not asking for people who are already carrying, in many cases, more than their fair share to take on.
We don't want that.
Right.
We really don't want. And oftentimes it is those people who are super committed,
I know.
who just say, okay, there's a need, I'll do it.
Something else.
Yeah, I mean that's maybe a piece of why we're in ministry. That's let's dig down deep. But I think we just I could do more. But really, we got to say no. Because we also want people to have margin to engage their neighbors,
Right, yeah.
and their coworkers, and you can't do that if you're serving 10 hours a week in a ministry.
Most people can't. Yeah,
that's
right.
true. You can.
No,
Some
not
people-
me.
I didn't mean like you can. I didn't mean like you can. No, you Boggy Talk listeners can.
Yeah.
People can, but it's just we have to help.
Depends on their
create this
season.
Well, and it
balance.
helps people have ownership too,
Yeah.
and if you're the personality that you want to do everything, you're taking that from somebody else too, and they might not
Yep.
even know that, there's a need
Yes,
that
absolutely.
needs to be filled there. So,
Yeah, and I mean, I would really say flowing from all that is the generosity of God's people. And, we do, as we plan for the future and growth and raising money to be able to expand our facilities, but without taking on a debt that is burdensome. We need to raise a lot of cash. And so in addition to giving towards missions and ministry and all that, and we don't want that to slow down. We don't want to shift that.
Right, yeah.
We have set a goal of $5 million in giving in the year, which is a pretty significant increase from 2024. So we're hoping that will help us to launch a capital campaign.
Yeah.
And then just I'll let him talk about the missions piece there, but we also recognize that we're going to have to come up with a lot of strategies over the next few years to accommodate growth if we continue to grow. So one of two things is going to happen because we don't have space. Either we're going to grow and not have space and have to figure things out, or we're going to hit a ceiling of growth. We trust the Lord and all that, but we need to have a plan for that growth.
Yeah.
We don't want to turn people away
Absolutely.
because, you
Right.
know. Now, if they choose to go to other smaller churches or other churches, because that's fine. Like,
okay.
we're not upset. Like, we trust the Lord. But if they want to be here, they believe the Lord's leading them here, we want to have space for them.
Right,
So
yeah.
we got to figure out what
Yeah,
to do.
I mean, we and people ask, have you thought about this? Yeah, we're thinking about everything,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we're trying to at least. And, whether that means concurrent services and different, we talked about different group times and having to shift spaces and shared spaces. And it just means that we as a church are going to have to be far more comfortable with being fluid than our Western comforts want to stay. We're just going to have to be super flexible and, ultimately, I mean, not to be heavy-handed, but then you're like, all right, and there's people meeting, when persecution, so I think we can suck it up. I mean, no, I may have to go to overflow. Like, I get it. No one wants to be in overflow, but also, like, our we have air conditioning.
We need to serve, we need to serve coffee at overflow.
Yeah, that's what would draw people.
There you
I'm serious.
go.
You
Okay.
only get coffee if you go to overflow.
You are the executive pastor of ministry and
I
missions.
like that
You
idea.
can make that happen.
Unfortunately, I don't have a secret pot of money but we can work on that. I mean, that could be some
secret pot of money
incentivized
or
things,
the-
Steve
right?
has it
That's
somewhere.
right.
He'll be here next week. Yeah, but I just letting you hit those last two goals. I mean, we want to
New missionary partnerships,
stay focused
and
on missions.
and we want to see $900,000 go to missions. And I think we recognize, hey, we're in a position where over the past few years we've made very intentional efforts to make the current missionary partnerships, and I say not just global missionary partnerships, but our new church planting partnerships, meaningful. Not that they don't appreciate the dollars that get sent, and that's meaningful to the ministries, but we've also tried to make them meaningful in terms of the relationships that we have, the support we're offering them, and that we are, going and serving alongside. And so now that I feel like we really do have those healthy, we're at a place where we can explore new things. We commissioned a couple from our church, the Jeffersons, to North Africa. And so we've started talking about what does it look like to partner with you guys long term as they are there, getting more fluent in the language, and would have more time to have more strategy.
The Jeffersons moved on up to the east side.
They did.
Has no one ever
the
put
east
that
side
together?
of North Africa.
No.
That's right. So there and others, and so
I
we're
don't think they're on
exploring
the
those.
east side.
No,
That's okay.
they're in the
but they're on
north.
the east side of the globe.
They are.
The globe.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
Where's the?
We're the prime meridian. I don't.
They're not
There
in
you
the
go.
Western Hemisphere.
No, they're
not in the
They're
Western
not.
Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Prime
So,
meridian. Wow, I haven't heard
Yeah,
that.
I was
word in
about
a
to
long time. The not equator. Good
job.
The
The
not
not
equator.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So back to missions.
Yeah, and so we just want to see more of that happen. I think we've, I'll take Uganda for example, because we're doing child sponsorships, we're doing the meals, we're sending teams, we've helped support a new ministry for Godfrey, Laura's husband, reaching some street children, or not teenagers, I should say, not children. That's great, and that's fruitful. And so now I want to say, what else can we do in the next place? We've seen a lot of fruit in India, and the pastors we're supporting there. So what's next? How do we help this happen? So
Laura loves God so much she even had to marry a
That's
guy
right,
named Godfrey.
That's
People
great.
said to me one time, they're like, "Oh, so you love Christ so much you have to marry a Christy?"
That's funny.
So,
There you go. That's
Yeah.
funny.
That is funny.
You married a Christy too.
I did
so-
too, and
I
Christina,
married a
like little teeny
Christopher,
Christ,
so,
That's
Yeah.
right. Look at us. Wow.
Oh wow,
Right.
Chris! Wow, I didn't even realize that. Oh my
That's funny.
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That is funny.
coincidence. Well,
Here we are, the
Yeah.
pagans.
Any takeaways from Vision Night for you? I know you weren't presenting. You
I mean,
obviously
you've been a church
Kelly
member for
helped-
time, and now
you
you've been on
Kelly,
Yeah.
staff.
Kelly.
For,
You and Emily helped
and Kelly.
design everything.
Yes. I mean, I love that there's intentionality in it, looking in the past, looking towards the future, and just because it's everyone that's involved in it too. And so I think that's great to just have that shared mission and vision with everyone, and to get to celebrate all of those things, and then say, these are our strengths, these are our weaknesses, this is where we want to move forward, with the Lord and His Spirit leading us and blessing us through it all. So it's very exciting, and more to come next week. We will be talking about capital campaign.
Yes.
We're going to have the next few weeks some special guests.
Yeah, this will be exciting few weeks ahead on Boggy Talk.
Yeah, so some new faces and a lot of new information coming
Yeah.
our way.
Be good.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
speaking of new information, I have a game for you guys.
Wait. We didn't plan this.
Yeah, here we
Did we?
go.
Did I miss an email?
I think I did read
so
that he
we're
was.
gonna keep
Okay.
score, actually.
Okay. All right.
So
I was about to end it, but
Oh,
I guess
man.
this is Bayshore trivia. I have 10
Oh, no.
questions, okay? And we'll see how much you two leadership staff members,
Great.
executive pastor Justin Wyatt.
I have a feeling I'm going to
well,
go.
he
Communications
remembers Prime Meridian, so we already know
coordinator.
where this is
I have a
going to
feeling
go.
I'm gonna
how
have
much
to-
do you love your church?
I'm going to have to go back and read
So,
our
I'm
vision
gonna-
document,
gosh.
our history document after
Score.
this.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Are we buzzing in? Are we chiming in?
No, you guys, we'll alternate who goes first, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so Justin's going to go first the first time. So you can copy his answer if you want, right? You get it. Okay. Anyway, here we go. You guys both get to answer,
Okay.
Okay.
but you alternate who goes first. All right, so
Okay.
what year
So
Oh.
was this church founded? Is it A, 1900, B, 1910, C, 1925, or D, the church is actually not incorporated still?
actually, this church was founded the moment Jesus said to Peter.
I was
I'm
gonna
just kidding.
do that.
1910.
Okay, Kelly, do you
That's what I
know
was
the
gonna
answer?
say.
You guys are both right. It was 1910.
Yeah, good job,
Okay.
Kelly.
I did know that one. I wasn't just copying your answer.
Church is 115 years old.
Yum.
Okay. The first pastor was Dan Anderson. First paid pastor was Dan Anderson. What was his salary?
Oh boy.
Until like 1978, it was published, like the pastor's salary.
Wow.
So you obviously can find that out if you go meet with our administrator, but we don't put it, all of our staff member salaries in the printed budget. But okay.
1910.
Was it $10 a month, $100 a month, $500 a month, or $1,000 a month?
Or E, treasures in heaven.
Well, both things. The benefit, it doesn't pay that well, but the benefits are out of this world.
That's right.
I don't know.
Kelly, yes.
Is this 1910?
This was 1910,
Okay.
yeah. Around there. 10, 100, 500, 1,000.
A month?
Yeah.
I feel like it's 10. But I
$10
wanna
a
say-
month?
I'm going with $10 a month.
both going
That's my
10?
answer. I'm locked in.
You're both right. It was
All
$10 a
right.
month. Okay.
Wow.
1910, man.
Okay. In what year did the church become First Baptist Church of Niceville?
Tricky.
Was it A, 1915, B, 1920, C, 1943, or D, 1965? Justin has to answer first.
Oh, I'm going with either 43 or 65, I think. And so I'm going to go with 65.
65, okay.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. In what year did this church become First Baptist Church of Niceville,
Oh,
as
okay, okay.
opposed to Damascus Baptist Church at
Oh,
Boggy
gotcha.
Bayou? Because that was its original name.
Okay.
Was it 1915, 1920, 1943, or 1965?
43.
Okay, so you think it was Damascus Road Baptist or Damascus Baptist Church for 33 years, and you think it was for 55 years?
Yeah, because when did Niceville become Niceville? It was Boggy Bayou, like Yeah, that's
I think
why
it
I'm
was.
going with
I think it was
65.
early 1900, but the answer was 1943. So
Oh,
Kelly
man.
Brown got that right.
I was going with post World War II.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, well.
All right.
Good job.
This is a good one. What is the longest tenure that a pastor has had here? So senior pastor, not associate pastor, because Dennis Brown was here for 29 years before he passed away. But the longest tenured senior pastor was either A, 10 years, B, 14 years, C, 20 years, or D, 33 years. Kelly, you have to answer first.
33.
33 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know Pastor Mike was here 10 years, but I think there was one person here longer, so I'm going with 14.
Justin is right. It was only 14
That's
years.
it?
That's crazy. Isn't
In
that crazy?
115 years. The longest
That's
tenured
wild.
was
yo.
Reverend Joe Hagler.
Yeah.
From 1978 to
Wow.
1992. He was here for 14 years.
And that's who the gym was originally named for.
The
him,
Hagler Center.
Hagler Center, back when you
Yeah.
named buildings
Really?
for people. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he was still
Hagler
alive when
Center.
they ended up
Okay.
building after him. But so I'm halfway there already. I am living on a prayer as well.
That's right.
So anyway, yeah.
Oh, man.
So yeah, God's grace. Yeah. Anyway, so number 5, in what year was our current sanctuary built? Was it Kelly has to go first,
Oh,
right?
I have to go first. No, I thought.
No,
I
Justin has to go
No.
first.
Oh,
So
I know this one.
was it A,
think.
1955, B, 1975, C, 1985, or D, 1995?
85.
85.
That's
So the
sanctuary.
sanctuary is the same age as Kelly, right? Weren't you 85?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not supposed to say that on public radio.
It's okay.
Okay. Christy Ross was also born at 85. So you think the sanctuary is the same age as Kelly? What about
Not
you?
over the hill yet. I think it's the one right before. What did you
75?
say? Yeah.
What looks older, the building or Kelly?
Thanks.
We know the answer to that one. It's the
Definitely
building.
the building.
Has it been refurbished
It's the
at
building.
all?
Multiple.
Yeah,
Okay.
multiple times, yeah. So,
I don't
but you
know,
go with
but-
1975?
Maybe that's probably wrong.
Okay, final answer?
yeah.
Okay. Justin was right. It's 1985.
85.
Yeah, so after 5 rounds, by the way, that sanctuary is 40 years old.
That's crazy.
Same size sanctuary. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So Justin Wyatt has 4 points. Kelly
And there's-
Brown has 3
yeah,
points.
there's
We're
pictures,
halfway through.
Pictures of
All right.
that place with the green carpet and the
Yes.
purple carpet and
Yep.
yeah,
Those were-
Okay.
interesting
We have
choices of the time.
5 more questions.
Whew, okay.
We all know the internet was
We do know
developed
the
in the
internet.
late 80s, early 90s.
We do know the internet.
What was the first year that this church had a website?
Oh boy.
Was it 1992, 1995, 1999, or 2012? This is Kelly. You have to go first.
2012.
Tricky.
Well, isn't that far-fetched? Isn't that far-fetched?
Wait, you said 95 or 99?
92, 95, 99, or 2012?
I mean, 99 seems kind of late, but then no, it doesn't. I'll go 99.
99, okay.
Okay, I do know this, that Mel Nagel,
Mel
a church
Nagel.
member, built that website, and he actually won a national award
Wow.
for it because it was so early when like websites weren't really a thing. So I'm going to go with 92.
Yeah, your story, I don't deny, but sounds odd because it was 1999.
What?
Okay.
Yes. So,
Oh,
Kelly,
really?
you got that right.
Yeah.
Oh, 99. Is that late? But yeah, he won an award. Like
What award?
I don't know.
I
Ask
believe
Mel.
you. Okay.
I'll call
I
him
need
and
to
ask
know.
him. He won an award for it. The church won an award for their website in 1999.
99.
Speaking of awards, in the same year that this artist won a Dove Award, they performed here at First Baptist Church of Niceville in 1981.
Oh,
This
Wow.
wow.
was it A, Sandy Patty, B,
That's
Bill
a-
Gaither, C, New Song, or D, The Boons?
I don't even know who the Boons are.
Pat Boone? That's Pat Boone.
It's your turn. You have to go.
Oh, I'm going
Yeah.
with the Boones because I
Okay.
feel like if Sandy Patty had sung here, I would know about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna go with the Boones because that seems like they're kind of a country-ish Southern
I've never
gospel.
even heard of them.
That's my guess.
You said the Gaither?
Yeah.
Or who's the
I'll
other
go
one?
again. Gospel artist, won a Dove Award in 1981, and also had a concert at First Baptist Church of Niceville that year. Was it Sandy Patty, Bill Gaither, New Song, or the Boons like Justin said.
New Song has been around that long, I think.
Yeah.
They're still cranking it.
Oh, man. I don't know. I don't really know. You had a good reasoning.
So you're going with the Boons also?
Sure.
Okay. I had never heard of the Boons until this. Neither had First Baptist Church of Niceville because it was not the Boons.
Oh, no.
New Song did start in
New
1981.
Song.
It was Sandy Patty.
No, I had
my
no.
gosh.
Sandy
Yes,
Patty
in
sang
concert
in
at
this,
First
not
Baptist
in this
Church of
building,
Niceville.
not in
No,
our
at First
sanctuary.
Baptist Church of Niceville.
Man,
That
I
was my
feel like
first
that
choice.
is
Always go with
something
your
I
first
could
choice.
sing you almost all her songs.
All right,
From
so
the
we
Justin
have
just got really excited.
3 more questions.
Do you know
and it is a
Passion
tie.
also was here?
I do know
once,
Passion
too.
was here
I-
back in the day on
yeah.
the Road to One Day kind of a tour. Yep.
In Niceville, not at First Baptist.
No, at this church.
No, at this church.
I
they
was
had
there.
like Road to One Day, like when they were doing a big tour to like build up to One Day they
Oh,
had.
yeah. See, the history document I was looking at only went to 2010. So
Okay.
No, that
after
was like
2010.
2000. That was
Oh,
like
Yeah,
really?
1999.
I was in high school.
Wow.
It happened.
It was all green in there. I just remember that.
Who
for
was
some
the
reason.
band then? Because that was pre-Tomlin, right?
It was like the Passion Band. It was a bunch of them who were. Some
You know
of
the
them are
green
still-
disc. Remember?
The
No,
Road
that
to
was
One
It was
Day.
about that.
Pre me being serious.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like,
Jesus.
yeah, they just had a tour.
I remember Wow, that's what I call
Oh,
Wow worship.
Or now.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's now. Wow worship was the thing.
Okay, yeah. Okay, number
Man,
8.
I still can't get over Sandy
Who
Patty
is-
thing.
Yeah.
These are recent questions. now.
Okay.
Number 8. Who is our longest tenured staff member? Is it A, Brenda Cook, B, Charlotte Smith, C, Ward Van Steenberg, or D, Michael Van Zant?
Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Ward.
Brenda Cook.
She's been on
What?
staff that long?
Brenda Cook's 15th anniversary was my first day.
Oh,
so she
okay. I thought she
has
was
been on
staff
for
later. I know Ward is
22
one
years.
week more than Charlotte.
Yeah,
That's
they're both like
22
16
years?
or 17 years.
Brenda?
Yeah.
Oh,
Or maybe
I didn't
18
realize
years.
that.
They're a few years
Sorry,
behind.
Brenda.
That's amazing.
Brenda,
you're the
yes.
best.
She has the most job security of anyone
Yeah.
She
on our
does.
staff.
She puts out so many fires for us.
She sure does, and gives us so many gentle
I
reminders.
know.
and
That's
corrections.
great.
She's
Okay.
so kind.
All right, our church has been recognized this previous year as a top CP giving church. Were we recognized in our state for being in the top 100 churches? So that means how much money we give the cooperative program for missions to Southern Baptist. Top 50 churches, top 20 churches, or top 10 churches?
Is this percentage or this is
Amount.
dollar amount?
Amount.
Okay.
Top 100, top 50, top 20, or top 10?
I should know this. Scrolling through the booklet they give us at the convention.
Okay.
Uh,
I don't think it's in there.
yeah, we're top 20.
Top 20?
Top 10.
Top 10? Top 20. Top 20. We are one of only
All
2
right.
churches not in a city that is in the top 20.
Oh.
But you
that's
got that right,
interesting.
Justin?
Yeah.
Okay, you have to get this, Kelly.
All right,
Okay.
no pressure.
All right.
All right. Should have said Sandy.
You ready?
That's right. You should have gone with Sandy Patty.
Okay. So you both know that Michael Van Zant taught math, right?
I do know that.
Okay. Well, so did one of our other staff members. They taught math in school.
What?
Was it Steve Renna, me, Taylor Palmer, or Jacob Ball?
Jacob.
I'm going with Jacob, but I'm also going to put an asterisk by this because there's actually 2 staff members who taught math. Justin Wyatt.
Well,
So-
you don't care.
Did
Besides
Beth
you
teach
guys.
math too?
She wasn't a choice.
okay.
You taught
She
math
taught-
in
she
Korea?
does.
That doesn't count.
No, I.
Oh, okay.
Because they already know it. What? What do you mean? No, when I moved back from Korea for a year, I taught high school before I started
I didn't
seminary.
realize it was math.
You taught high school
know
I
you
taught choir, drama, and algebra because it was a brand new high school, and
Oh,
they
wow.
were like, pick your choice. You have to teach physical science, algebra,
Wow,
or
3
something
people
else.
have taught math.
Yeah.
You
I'm
said
going.
Jacob?
Jacob. Yeah.
I'm going with Jacob simply because I know he's taught before.
But are you doing that
But
just
Taylor,
because you don't want Kelly to win?
no, because Taylor could
Who
have
did you think it was?
me.
You
But-
weren't a choice.
I
on
know.
there.
That's why I was like,
Okay.
oh, it's just.
It was Jacob.
It was Jacob.
He's the
Yay.
most fitting person. Not
Yeah.
that other
All
people
right.
couldn't. I just
You would
know
have thought he would talk like literature because he's into like nerdy
he
books
is
and things like
philosophical.
that.
He's a philosophy guy.
Yeah, he
History.
is. So Justin
like that.
won 6-5.
man.
He's also
Oh,
been on staff a
okay.
lot longer
Yeah,
than
so
you.
it's fair enough. I mean,
Sure.
I
technically
actually,
you won.
technically
Kelly.
comparative to the amount of time we've been on staff, you did much better than I
Well,
did.
good.
so-
I'm
And Kelly
glad
and our
you didn't-
sanctuary are both celebrating milestone birthdays.
Yes,
That's right.
we
2020.
are. We are.
Now everybody knows
we
that,
all need
Kelly. Sorry.
facelifts, too.
My
So- Anyways, well, we hope you guys enjoyed
That's funny.
that. And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to Boggy Talk. We are so glad you joined in the conversation. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss a beat.